Today I fucked up when I went to the over a syringe needle in my butt. My GF gives me weekly TRT injections in the glute and has been doing so for a number of months now. Every now and then, I get a searing pain and a few drops of blood, but nothing major. Tonight, business as usual, except this time it stung. Bad. It was intensely burning from the moment the needle was inserted, and suddenly, there was a pop. I felt a very strange, gurgling, or bubbling, sensation at the injection site, and told my girlfriend to remove the needle. No needle. My girlfriend panicked and told me that the needle broke off. My immediate reaction was to get to the hospital to try and have the needle removed, since it wasn't visibly sticking out, and there was now a small puddle of blood at my feet. Realizing I probably won't be able to sit in a car, we called 911 and had paramedics investigate. 2 paramedics and an officer inspected the syringe, and after taking a look at my blood-soaked booty, told me that we're going to need to get it out at the Once there, I was numbed up and a pretty good incision was made. No luck. They couldn't find the needle after digging in my right cheek for an hour, even with an ultrasound. So we wrapped up. They told me to go home, call the general surgeon first thing in the morning. Well, no need to call the surgeon because after completely dismantling the syringe to further inspect the mechanism of failure, I found the needle. That's when I realized, retracting BD Precision Glide Needle, was printed on the package. Oops, too long did not read. I had a surgeon slice my ass like a steak to look for a needle that wasn't even there, all because I never read the syringe label, instructions. This doesn't seem right. Any decent doc or EMT would have asked to look at your syringe and discovered that it was a retracting one. BD syringes are color-coded if I remember correctly. EMTs would have known. I'm inclined to say this today I fucked up is made up. Edit. Also, you're not supposed to give those IM injections at the same site over and over again. Someone would have told you to alternate between cheeks. Doc here. I've had patients come in for this same thing, including another medical provider. But I'm certainly not cutting anyone open without X-ray evidence of a foreign body because patients are wrong in their assessments a lot more than you would expect. She's been doing it for months and never realized the needle is retractable? And then 5 people can't read the label properly, oof. They didn't see it on the ultrasound and kept on digging? How aggressive is she administering your injections? Sounds like she mangles you in every step lol. Okay, so fine, needle wasn't in your butt. Why the hell was there so much blood after injection? She hit an artery? They are thick-walled and pop when hit. Just typing that makes me nauseous. Today I fucked up by getting my boyfriend high for over 30 hours. Friday night my boyfriend came over to watch movies and hang out. At around 11:30 p.m., I asked if he wanted to eat a gummy with me. He's pretty straight edge and has never smoked or indulged in recreational drugs in his life. So I figured cutting it in half would be good for him. The gummies were 8 mg. I figured, this should be fine. Fast forward over an hour and I'm feeling it kick in slightly. He's feeling nothing at all. I have a higher tolerance than him obviously, and figured I had a bigger half than he did. I thought it was weird, but again, I was slightly blitzed already and so it felt smart to both eat the other halves. So we both ingest 8 mg. Another hour passes and I notice him behaving odd but he doesn't seem to notice it. And then right as I'm about to get up for food, it all hits him at the same time. I'll spare you the hilarious antics of extremely high people, one of which being a newbie to this, and just say that I thought what I had was regular edibles. No, it was THCP, which is about 30x stronger. I had accidentally given a newbie a nuke that had just went off. He was literally speed running the euphoric feeling which made him panic and then manic. At one point, he was floating through water, and the next he was having trouble remaining in his own body and keeping his vision from blurring. I could see pixels in the air. Suffice to say, we were so fucked up. High as a kite and full of energy. With gummies, it usually lasts about 8-10 hours for me. On THCP, I was high for 24 plus hours and he was still feeling it well into the 33-hour mark. We slept most of the day. We were up until 9 a.m. Saturday and when we finally passed out, we woke up at 3 p.m. Couldn't get out of bed until 5:30 p.m. Then back to bed at midnight. I was lucid enough to order food at some point but he was still in a sort of dreamscape of derealization and depersonalization. He completely closed off and shut down. Not talking or moving much, which scared me the most since he usually talks a lot. The night was spent impaired and awkward and while I started to come down, he was still loopy. I apologized about 1,000 times for being a bad accountability buddy and not paying enough attention to what I purchase. I thought our relationship was over since I'd broken his trust. Turns out, he doesn't blame me and he isn't upset with me, just annoyed that he didn't have control of himself. I feel like I messed up since he no longer wants to indulge after this experience. I understand the stance, and honestly I am going to cut back on it as well since being high for 24 hours gets annoying as fuck after a while. I'm sure our relationship is fine since we talked it through Sunday morning before you left and we communicated how we felt about the whole ordeal. I still feel a little bad because I gave him his first ever high and it turned out to be a bad one. Too long did not read. I got my boyfriend who's never been high before, higher than he's been in his entire life with THCP, and he was stoned for over 30 hours. He had a bad experience as his first and he no longer wants anything to do with it. Never ever say, "I'm not feeling anything" to an edible. They'll get yaw every time. No matter how many times stories like these get posted, somebody out there still tries something new and says, "It's been an hour and I don't feel anything, so give me a handful more." Genuine question. What on earth are products like that being sold for? We expect bartenders to cut people off if they've had too much to drink, but a shop will sell you a single gummy that will blow your head off and leave you incapacitated for an entire day. My wife and I once fucked up and confused some 30-to-1 THC capsules for CBD ones. The bottle was almost identical to what we had usually bought. I took one some night, went to bed, felt a bit off all the next day, like pretty high, but didn't put two and two together. Just chalked it up to feeling off. A few days later, still not aware of our mistake, she took two, when she got home from work. Little while later she was like, I feel high. Yeah, 56 milligrams total. Sent her to bed immediately. She was not okay for a while. We figured out the mistake and tossed them. 30+ hours of depersonalization is a pretty traumatic event. Like that will have a lasting effect on him one way or another whether he admits it or not. He definitely will never forget that. Hoping for the best for him and his mental health. I was one and done with edibles after experiencing depersonalization. I believe THCP is the absolute best cannabinoid to use for treatment of actual chronic pain due to its long-lasting effects. Too bad asshole fly-by-night chemists are going to get it banned because they're just selling it all willy-nilly at every sketchy gas station without even so much of a vague warning about how potent THCP actually is.